So this week I'm making a wine glass stem. Pete from Twisted Trees did one of these a couple of months ago now, I think. I'll link his video down below. But he did his off centre like a wonky wine glass. For this one I just kept it simple and just made a fancier stem than what's already on that glass. I'm just putting a cheap cutter on that I bought from eBay. I think they were about a £5 for 8, I think, for your rotary tool. It broke that off quite clean. It doesn't actually cut all the way through. I think it just makes a mark and then vibrates rest off, but that's good enough for what I want to do. I'm going to be making this out of Sapele. Obviously not going to be using all this piece of wood, but my bandsaw still needs a blade, and the easiest way to cut it is on the lathe itself. So I'll put it between centres. I'm just marking out on my tool rest 5.5 inches. Just a rough idea of how tall I want it. And I'll get to roughing it down with my spindle roughing gouge first. After we've got some speed into it. It's in about 1800 revs. I'm only roughing down the portion that I need. Now that's roughed down, I'm just going to create a tenon on the back of that waste piece, so next time it can just go straight into a chuck. And on this end I'm putting a 40mm tenon to use my little GK88 chuck with a little gripper jaws on from Axminster. And then just parting that off. I part through till it's about, I don't know, 15mm, and then go at it with a saw. That saw is a little cheap Japanese pull saw from Amazon. I think it were about £6 or £7. Ideal for cutting stuff off like this. Right, so I'm just getting an idea of the thickness of the top of that remaining stem on there, and look as it is the same as where I parted down to. I'm just using my parting tool to get to roughly that size. The tool rests far too high, but I felt like being a rebel. And then just getting an idea of how deep I want the stem to go in, well, the glass stem to go into the wooden stem. I've got little notches marked on that drill bit, just to give me an idea. So that's that bit done. Now I'll move to a little 3/8 spindle gouge and just start hollowing that neck to get a taper inside for that cup part to go into. I think these are a really good gift idea, and I'm sure they'd sell at craft fairs if you did them in pairs or sets. There's really not much cost when doing this, really. can pick up cheap wine glasses from Tesco's or wherever. Asda, really cheap. It's a bit like making a box lid, this part. You to slowly work away at it just to get a nice fit, but you want a gap for your glue as well. And from watching other people make these, best type of glue to use is like a one that dries flexible, not dries solid. So like CA glue wouldn't be a good idea. I actually used Yoo-Hoo multi-purpose glue that I stole from my missus, and that's all right there. So just defining a line where I'm going to part off with my parting tool. Give me room to work. Just have a look at a piece of wood, make sure there's no cracks in it or anything, but Sapele is usually pretty stable. Just checking that tightness of the chuck. Then marking off just proportion really how much I wanted that the base. This is Glen Teagle's square carbide chisel. You could use a parting tool to do this, but this tool you don't have to sharpen it, and you just plunge in, lifting your handle as you go in down towards centre, and this removes wood really fast, and leaves a really nice finish as well if you're a bit more careful with it. But I'm just using it to remove bulk. It's the ideal tool for this. I'll link Glen's tools down below. This is from his Type 3 set that's really reasonably priced. All his tools are, in fact. So just putting a slight bit of a concave in that top. For no other reason, just to tidy it up really. I already had an idea of what kind of shape I wanted before I started this. Basically like reducing down in size down stem, and where your fingers would rest on stem I wanted a bit of a detail. I decided on like a bowl shape rather than a true bead, so not symmetrical basically. Now, obviously I'm being mindful that that's hollow, because I don't want to go making outside bigger, making the inside bigger than the outside. Actually looks quite chunky on camera, but it's not. You'll see in pictures later. You can hear that vibration because it is getting quite thin. We're just going to start creating that detail. As well as being a great gift, this would be a really good beginner's project as well. You could be as simple or as advanced as you want with what shapes you put in, or do one like Pete did and do it off centre. Happy Mother's Day for Sunday, by the way, for all mothers. Just using Glenn's tool again, just to move some bulk. I've had that cutter on there a few months now, and it's not showing any signs of needing turning round. It's an absolutely brilliant tool for hollowing. It eats end grain. So I was refining that shape again and getting down to what my final thickness will be at top of that next detail. Just getting a curving bottom, and then just start tapering that below that ball detail. Nice steady cut, just letting wood come to the tool. Just getting out any lumps and bumps. And then shaping that base, or the foot, or whatever you call it. Putting a slight concave to the shape. Little test fit, and I'm happy with that shape. So sanding as usual, 120, 180, 240, and then I go here a red nye web and then a grey one. I only show part at sanding. If you take your time with your first sanding grit and get any marks out, then all you're doing with your other grits is removing scratches that's left behind, and you'll always get a nice finish if you take your time. So that's all sanded up. I'm going to get some sanding sealer, and that's his first chance to see what that grain looks like. Again, I've said this before, I like Sapele. Some people don't, some people think it looks old-fashioned, but I like it. Now I'm going to get some Hampshire Sheen Eye Gloss Wax. I give it 3 coats. That seems to be a magic number. But when you're using it, you're not. I think I see some people when they're using waxes that they're trying to polish the wood itself, and you're not. You're just building wax coats up and polishing that wax. That's something I learned from Glenn as well. So that's got a nice even coat on, and then I'm just going to softly buff that. One coat gives you a nice shine, but you build it up, and like I said, 3 coats seems to be magic number. You can see that developing a shine. And that's 3 coats, I do believe. Yup. So now we're just going to part it off, giving it a slight undercut so it sits flat. And that's him parted off. So yeah, really nice finish on that. Just sanding bottom. And I think that is that, guys. So thank you for watching, as always. And that's with a glass glued in. So peace.